What's up, guys? Welcome to another home theater hangout with myself and Jordan, aka Haterade Cowboy. What's up, Haterade?
What's going on, Shane?
All right, well, we got I think a good show today, but let me tell you guys how it's gonna work today. So we are going to go through our three-tiered home theater setups for entry level, mid level, and high end level. So what we're going to include is AVR or processor, one. We're going to include the speakers, two. A subwoofer, three. And then a source component. So our pricing tier, as is, for entry level, we are looking at $100 to $2,000. That's the entry level. The mid level is $2,000 to $10,000. And then the high end level is $10,000 on up. Although I did try to keep it realistic and kind of capped mine by a little bit. I'm not going to tell you how much. You might think that Trinov is going to be on there, but listen, I know most people can't afford a
Oh,
Trinov. So I didn't want to get all too uppity on the high end. I don't know what Jordan put on his high end tier. I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm guessing it's probably on there. So I'm trying to be with you guys and be realistic and live in the real world. And also, if you guys have any questions or if you have any comments and you need it to be addressed, drop a super chat. Otherwise, we will try to get to your questions at the end of our list. Anyways, Jordan, since you are the guest today, we're going to start off with your list.
okay. Sounds good. Yeah,
So,
I had some. I'll talk about it, but there's I was like, man, this is kind of difficult because
yeah.
you have so many options now from when I'm sure you too. Like when I started into getting into home theater, I mean, there's so many budget options now that you can. I mean, you legit can build a home theater for $10,000. You know, it's not going to be as may not be as efficient and sound as good as some of the other stuff on this list, but
Well, we're going to find out. I haven't even listen. I haven't looked at any of your lists here, so this is going to be a surprise to me. So, tier one, your tier one list. This is entry level, or did you reverse it?
tier one is oh no, yeah, it's entry level.
Okay, here we
So I
go.
should have reversed. Yeah. Okay, so for my media player, I was like, okay, budget friendly. I was gonna go with an Arvolution, like the little player mini, because I think it's like $400. And I was like, you know what? I think most people that aren't like home theater enthusiasts would probably just buy like a streaming stick. And Apple TV is like the cream of the crop with that. So I went with the Apple TV and I figured, hey, this thing is less than $200.
Mm-hmm.
You most people already are paying for streaming services anyway. You know, your Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon. I'm sure you're probably subscribed to one of those. You know, people watching. So I figured, hey, this is probably going to be the most cost efficient and efficient as far as getting content. Because if you do go Arvolution or Zedu,
Yeah.
you still got to get discs, you still got to get hardware drive, hard drives, all that stuff. So then it's gonna go over with the Apple TV. It's plug and play as long as you.
Hold on a second. You froze. Okay, it's plug and play, and then
Plug and play.
and then you froze.
Oh, did I freeze?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you froze. So, okay, so yeah, it's plug and play. You've got streaming services. Most people are already, you know, paying for streaming services. So plug and play, if you're Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, you probably already subscribe to those, so it's not like an additional extra cost. Whereas, if you go with like an Arvolution or Zedu or something like that, you still got to pay for hard drive space. You still got to get discs. So now you're talking, hundreds and hundreds of dollars more. Whereas something like this that costs less, I think they're less than $200 when I looked it up. I forgot to put the prices on here, but I mean, for less than $200, you plug it up to your. I would assume you're plugging this up to your Ethernet so you can get the best, quality streaming,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just sign into your apps and you're done. So I mean, $200, less than $200, pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, so Apple TV is the Wi-Fi version is 130 and then
Forgot
the
about that.
Ethernet version is 150. Did you write a total cost down for your list?
No, I forgot to do that. So okay, so this one I believe the Apple TV is $200. So I'll calculate this. So where's my calculator app? Okay, so we got 200. Let's say $200. Including tax for the streamer or for your media player.
Yeah, okay. So let's go on. Your subwoofer, you picked the Stark Sound SW15. Wow.
I did. So
Popular.
originally, when I was doing this, I had originally put an HSU. I was going to go with an HSU or Shoe Research subwoofer. I've had a couple of those. I've owned a couple of those. I still have my very first separate like subwoofer, like a true subwoofer. Very first one that I ever bought was a Shoe Research. It was a STF one. I still have it. It's in my living room. Those things are amazing value
Yeah.
for the money. So I was going to put that on there, and then I thought, wait a minute. Okay, budget. You can get an SW15 2 for 1 most times throughout the year. I don't think
Yeah.
they're on sale the whole time, but quite a few times throughout the year. Like, how many subwoofer companies do you know that give a buy one get one free on a 15-inch
Yep.
driver? So I was like, nah, I got to go with the SW15s. And you reviewed them, I reviewed them. I still have mine. You get 2 of them. You're not going to beat that for the performance. And then if you decide to stack them like I did, man, I don't see anybody beating that performance for buy one get one.
Yeah, so these right now are $899, so $900 for one.
That's still pretty for a 15-inch. That's still pretty good. And you reviewed them, Shane. What was your
Yeah.
thoughts on them?
Yeah, I mean, this thing hit. I think it hit infrasonic in my room for that old apartment. I don't know what it would do now, but yeah, that was really impressive for that time. I think it was cheaper too. I think it was $600.
Yeah.
So I mean, it has gone up pretty substantial.
Yeah. So, like I said, if you wait, you might have to wait a little bit throughout. I mean, I think they usually do it for like holidays and stuff. So I want to say 3 or 4 times a year, these things will go on sale and you can do a buy one, get one. So you're talking $1,000 for 2 15-inch drivers. So that's $1,200 already.
Yep.
And what did we
So,
say the first tier was? Or the budget tier was?
The budget tier is $1,000 to $2,000.
Okay. So, yeah. So that one, we're at $1,200 for the sub and the streamer. So I may go over on this one a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So how much are we at right now?
1,200.
1,200. All right. So let's go down to your next category. Look at that. Polk XT70s. You went towers. Okay.
Yeah. So let me pull this up so I can get the price on that. So I went with Polk. So this is the other hard thing. Are we doing full like 7.1? Because these are $299 each.
Yeah.
So I went with Polk because I've had various number iterations of Polk speakers, and until I upgraded to Arundel, that's pretty much all I had ever really known. Like I had some mix and match Polk, but Polk had served me well for years, man. I mean, I had some of their older, like high end speakers from a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Got them new at Fry's. I had a couple of those, and I had some cheap Polk speakers. But Polk makes some good stuff, man. I wouldn't call them like hi-fi, high tier status, but
Yeah.
unless you go to the big ones that they just came out with a couple years ago. But Polk makes some good stuff, man. And you can get some if you get a good processor, receiver, whatever. I think you'd be happy on a budget. So
Yeah.
these are $299 each.
These are, what do they have in them?
So they have, let's see here. They've got a 1-inch dome tweeter,
Yep.
2 6.5-inch bi-laminate paper cone woofers, 2 8-inch passive bass radiators, and 8 ohms impedance. They can take up to 200 watts and will play from 35 to 40,000 hertz, 86 dB sensitivity.
Yeah, good budget option for sure. I mean, when I used to work at Best Buy, a lot of people would always buy either Polk or Klipsch.
Yep.
So
And
that's for
actually, sorry, go ahead.
that's your main speaker.
Yeah, so I was thinking like just, if space isn't a constraint, just go with those all the way around.
Oh, those are 300. Oh man, then you're gonna be over two
Yeah.
grand. You're gonna be over
I,
two grand.
I yeah, I kind of messed up on that when I did. I was like, oops. So I think I'm just gonna go a little bit over 2 grand on this one.
All right. So next, your AVR.
The TXNR 6100. So this is this one is 699. So like I said, a little bit over $2,000. I I was kind of struggling with this because let me see, I've had one, two, three or four Onkyo receivers. So the first receiver that I ever bought when I started looking into separates was Onkyo receiver. Parents still have it. That thing's still kicking. That thing's probably almost 20 years old. For budget, like feature set, I don't think anybody can really beat them. I almost didn't put them on this list because they do have in the past they have had some pretty significant HDMI board issues. But I think they've gotten a lot better. So I went with this one because it's a 7.2 home theater receiver, Dolby Atmos, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Apple AirPlay, Amazon Alexa, does Dolby Atmos, DTS:X. You get 100 watts per channel into 8 ohms with 2 channels driven. It's THX certified. The only thing that bugs me is the Acu EQ. So I think the first two receivers that I bought had Odyssey, and then the last one that I had, which was the last one I ever had, they came out with their own like room correction software, Acu EQ, and that stuff is trash. The mic was trash.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? Because I already didn't like Odyssey very much. Odyssey makes that thing. I mean, Acu EQ makes Odyssey look like, you know, Trinov or something. But yeah, I mean, for price and feature set, I don't really see anybody beating Onkyo, and they pretty much kept that up over the years. And like I said, I think they've gotten better with some of the issues that they had, like with the HDMI board and stuff like that.
So what do we got for your total cost here?
So total cost, so 2,000 plus, 699. So we're talking $2,700. I think that's still pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
$2,700, and we're not including like tax and anything, stuff like this. So, $2,700 for my budget-friendly package.
All right. So that is Jordan's budget-friendly entry-level tier. A little bit over $2,000. He sort of missed the assignment on this one, but
My bad. I got excited.
all right. So we're gonna kick it off with mine here. I'm gonna start off with the receiver. Oh, you know what? It cuts out the audio when I do that. Ooh, hold on.
Interesting.
I
I can
guess-
still hear you.
Yeah, I couldn't hear myself talking.
Oh, I could hear you. You said last thing I heard was you went with the Sony STR, whatever the model name was.
Let me see. Guys in the chat, could you hear me when that was on? If not, I can just
I
just
can't
pull
even
up
see
this
the
one.
chat.
Oh, really? You can't see it?
Not in here. Let me see. Where is the?
All right. Well, I'll just pull it up this way here. All right. So yeah. So I got to do it this way. All right. So my entry level tier, we're gonna start it off with the Sony STRDH 790 to 7.2. What? It just went out again. What's going on here?
I can still hear you.
Oh, okay. The 7.2 channel receiver. So this puts out 90 watts per channel. And if you want, you can do a 5.2 layout. So 5 lower channels, 2 Atmos height channels if you want to. Real basic. It's $450 on Amazon. I think it was like $500 when I looked it up initially.
Okay.
But this is definitely one of the more entry-level models that we used to sell at Best Buy all the time. I don't know if it was still the 790 or not, but they always had like a $200 or $300 model.
Like they sold more than Onkyo, or
Yeah, it's for their budget stuff. And that was, I wrote that down. Yeah, so $500 normally. It looks like Amazon has it on sale for $450.
okay.
The next level up, plus I picked Sony because I think a lot of people probably have Sony TVs, and usually their stuff, their AVRs work really well with their TVs with this Bravia Sync and all that. So that's why I went with that. All right, so let's go on to the speakers. Popular speaker. This is the Polk Monitor XT20. So you picked Polk, I picked Polk as
Nice.
well. So these are $250 a pair. So I picked 2 pairs of these. So you get 4 of these for your left, right, and also your surround speakers. So which brings the total up there to $500 for 2 pairs. So we're looking at $500 for the AVR and $500 for your front and surround speakers. And, as Jordan had mentioned earlier, these are a very popular entry-level speaker that these actually do sound good because I've heard these at Best Buy a few times because they always have them hooked up to like their demo playing machine there. And these will play down to 38 hertz, 38 to 40 kilohertz, so some pretty good high-end extension. Although I probably wouldn't expect too much bass because they only have a 5.25-inch driver in them.
Yeah.
And that is, again, $250 a pair for the Polk XT20s. So let me add the center channel. You already know what the center channel is going to be. The center channel is the Polk XT30. So this has dual 5.25-inch drivers. This will play down to 77 hertz. So you can still cross it over at your 80 hertz to get that the regular 80 hertz crossover that everybody uses. This here, the price for this is $119. Normally $200.
40% off, man.
Yeah, look at that XT30. So I have it on the Polk's website. They have it as $150. So yeah, you're saving a little bit of money there. That's the XT30. So we've got your front LCR, and then you have your surround speakers, and then of course what the Atmos speakers are going to be. It is also going to be Polk XT90. I put down.
I haven't seen those.
No, you haven't seen these?
No,
These are inexpensive, $100, $100 per pair. So we've got 5 lower channels, and then your 2 top channels for a full 5.2 channel setup. I mean, how much more cost efficient can you be with these? I mean, these Polks are budget kings. I tried to go Klipsch, but Klipsch was actually a little bit more money.
Yeah, I think Klipsch's. I've usually found that Klipsch's usually cost more, but they also run sales all the time too. So
Yeah. Unfortunately, Klipsch, you didn't have any sales for when I was looking at my set here. And then for the subwoofer, I'm going with the RSL Speedwoofer 10S. This is $449 for one. I can only fit one into the budget here to keep it under 2K. But I believe I reviewed this a while back. This has a single 10-inch driver. It's 400 watts. It's got extension down to 22 hertz, so you'll probably go down a little bit deeper with in room response. It's a quick, tight little subwoofer, very REL subwoofer like. However, it doesn't quite have the same build quality, but it's only 450 bucks. What do you expect? And quick shipping with these guys. Good. You can also audition it if you don't like it. You can return it as well. And look at that, low on stock. It's very popular. I mean, you can't beat it. I feel like at one point in time it might have been $300. I mean, I could be wrong. Somebody correct me on that. But I thought it was 300 when I reviewed it, or maybe it was 400 when I reviewed it.
I've never heard those RSO. I remember when you reviewed it, but I don't have any experience, so I don't know what they sound like.
Yeah, it sounds like a little rel. Very budget
Interesting.
friendly. It's a good sounding subwoofer. They have a bigger one, 12-inch version of it, which is like a monstrous sub. It's almost like a Perlison
Really?
D212. That's how big it is. Yeah,
That sounds like a big leap from the 10-inch.
yeah, it's huge.
Interesting.
And then let's go over to the source. This is going to be a popular one on the list. This is the Apple TV. This is the Ethernet version. 150 bucks. You know, everything that Jordan had said applies here as well. It's the easiest way to get into your movie watching streaming services. Just does it all. It works. It's the quickest out of all the streamers I've ever used. I've got Roku's, I've got Fire Sticks. Those all tend to get a little janky over time, but
Yep.
the UI on Apple is just the best in the biz, I think. I mean, I've also had the NVIDIA Shield, which runs on Android. We all
Yep.
know that Android gets janky as well. And of course, you know, if you are in the Apple ecosystem, if you have a lot of people have iPhones, Macs, this will all join into that Apple ecosystem for only $150. And my total cost came to, not counting tax, $1,950
Wow.
for the AVR 5.2 channels, speakers, the subwoofer, and your streaming device. So under $2,000, guys. You can do it. And I tell you what, this was hard. It was very hard to come up with something in the budget tier because I haven't had to shop in the budget tier for quite some time. So shopping for something budget that I am familiar with, because there are other cheaper options out there, but I don't know what they sound like. But I do know that Polk offers a good sounding product for a relatively inexpensive price. So that is our entry level tier list. That is $100 to $2,000. We are going to move over to the mid level. Let me change the little scrolling ticker on the bottom here, which is from $2,000 to $10,000, which seems like a lot of money.
It adds up quick.
200 to 10,000? No, that's not right. Hold on. Let me fix that. I'll tell you what, I think I might have had a harder time doing this one than I did the entry level. Because you would think that for $10,000, it's a ton of money, which it is a ton of money. But, God, just like speakers are really expensive. They really are expensive.
They're probably going to go up with the tariffs.
Yeah, it looks that way. It looks that way. Let me queue up your sheet here.
And actually, I think I may have to adjust this one too. I forgot to include. We'll talk about it.
Okay, let me bring this up. Where's my screen? So the question is for you guys, what is on your entry level tier list? Leave a comment down below. We would like to know what speakers you would have put on the list rather than Polk. I would assume it's probably going to be Klipsch would be
Clips, probably.
the main player.
I can't see. Can you see the comments section here anywhere?
Yeah, I got him here.
Oh, I
you
guess
can't
I
see it?
can't see it. Mm-mm.
That's weird. I mean, I feel like you're totally over here. I feel
I
like you totally
I
went over.
I messed up on this one too. So that's what I was saying. I think I may have to adjust. I was thinking. So I was doing this in between while I was working because we didn't have anything to do, and I kind of messed up on the pricing on this one. But yeah, so this, let me go to the, let me find the,
So this is the mid-level tier, guys. We've moved on to the mid-level. This is from $2,000 to $10,000. Mid-level tier. And let us know if your mid-level tier is different than our mid-level tier. I think this was a pretty safe bet for mid-level, though.
yeah. So I'm gonna change the and actually that's the wrong. See, I messed up on the graphic too. So that's the subwoofer. That's supposed to be the speaker, the Noesis 210 HT.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So
that's a weird speaker. I was gonna say it must be coax, but that's a subwoofer.
yeah, I messed up on the image on that one. So for my speaker, I went with the Noesis 210 HT. So those are the speakers that I have. I reviewed those a few months ago in my home theater. I only had three of them. Right now they're sitting out in the living room, and I'm actually gonna have to ship those off to a new reviewer. But those are pretty. They don't have a ton of bass. I mean, they're not meant to be like bass heavy, but they are. Let me click on this. They are a two-way loudspeaker. They've got two 10-inch woofers. Um, they have a so yeah, they go down to 60 hertz. So you're definitely gonna have to cross them over with a subwoofer. Probably 80 hertz. Sensitivity 95 decibels. 128 decibel usable output with a 2,000 watt recommended RMS at 4 ohms. So these are 24.99 each. So I think it's kind of this one was kind of hard too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say if you do well, and the reason why I put them on here is because it's not a whole lot, but if you purchase three speakers, you get a 5% discount. So you could get this for your LCR. It's still going to be a little bit pricey. They are, let me see, they're 24.99 each. So let me do 24.99 times 3 times 5%. So 24.99 times 3 times 5%. So
JTR and mid-level tier. Didn't think I would see that. Okay.
so dang, I don't know what I did. I messed up on this one.
Wait, how much is this speaker you're talking about now?
So if you do 3Ds, that's $7,000. So I completely screwed up the mid level. So you know what? Why don't you go to yours and I'll pick a different speaker. I'll come back to this.
All right. All right.
I have to go to my secondary.
All right. So while Jordan reworks his mid-level tier, let's go over to my mid-level tier here. So I'm gonna kick this off with the AVR. This is what I use. So this is my daily driver in my living room. This is the Sony AZ7000ES receiver. This is a 13.2 channel receiver. So you can do a 9.4 layout. So 9 lower channels and your 4 high channels if you want. And this, if you have a Sony TV, this has the Bravia Sync. You can do dual center channels. You can use your TV as a center channel extension. This is Roon certified. It has all the bells and whistles, 8K pass through. So if you have a media player or something like that, or I don't know what you have that would be 8K, but this will do 8K, 4K, 120. You plug your Sony PlayStation up to it. Whatever it is, this thing's pretty up to date as far as specs is concerned. IMAX Enhanced is also there. It doesn't have Auro 3D, but really, who uses Auro 3D nowadays?
That's true.
Dolby Atmos DTS:X. I love this thing. I think it's I know they had a couple years off from putting out AVRs, And then they just came out of the gate with the 7,000, 5,000, and 3,000 ES receivers. And I think they kind of knocked it out of the park, especially for price and feature set. And this is $3,300. This is on Amazon, by the way. So these are a lot of Amazon screenshots. If you guys hadn't noticed, we'll drop some links in this video after we're done. So this is the speaker, or sorry, that's the AVR. I'm going to move over to the speakers. The speakers are the KEF Q3 Meta bookshelves. These are $800 a pair. So I went with 3 pairs of these, which would give you six lower channels, your left-right surrounds, your left-right back speakers. So $800 for the pair. So we're looking at $2,400 already. And you guys know that I love matching speakers. This has the 6.5-inch coax driver, you know, their little inch tweeter in the center. So you get that pinpoint KEF accuracy. Some people think it's a little bright, but you know, you can always tone that down in your AVR if you want to. But just as with most coax speakers, you know, they're very directional sounding. You get the KEF sound quality there, sonic signature. Not the most attractive speaker. Yeah, I don't personally think it's the best looking speaker. It's very boxy looking, but I do like how directional, how direct precise their sound can be for what you get. And this was tough to do because there's, you know, I wanted to get something where it had good, you know, it had regular lower channel, a nice matching center channel, and then matching height channels. I would have done other speakers, but I know a lot of people just wouldn't want to mount regular boxes to their ceiling, so I wanted to get something that offered height channel placement, which would be the KEF Q8, which is the matching height channel speakers. I went with a set of these, so $800 for the pair. We're tacking on another $1,600. Same matching aesthetics, the driver, and then of course to round it out, we've got the matching Q6 Meta center channel speaker, dual 6.5 inches, and then we have the mid-range with the coax center channel in this center tweeter in the center of the mid. So we are looking at 3 Q3s, 1 Q6, 2 Q8s. And then one very popular subwoofer is going to be the Stark
nice.
Sound SW15. So this right now is $900 each. So I went with 2 of these because the Sony can do 13.2 channels. So we've already got all 13 channels already filled up. And then we've got the 2 subwoofer spots filled up. So this is $1,800 for both subwoofers. And again, we already mentioned this earlier, but for my room, 2 of these, I was getting down to like 10 hertz, which was pretty impressive. I think it might have been even lower. I mean, it really depends on how big your room is, but if it's something like a 12-12 room, 12-13, then you'll probably get some infrasonics. Anything bigger than that, you might be hitting around, I'm just guessing, probably around like 20 hertz, maybe 18. And this could go cheaper because, like, you know, Jordan had mentioned earlier, sometimes they'll do the buy one get one free during the year. They usually have sales multiple times a year.
Yep.
And then for source, again, the Apple TV. Not much has to be said about the Apple TV, but I mean, it's a safe bet for pretty much any tier just because it's so versatile and it's so user friendly. And you know what the total cost is here? I came to $10,050. So I went over by $50. $10,050 for the Sony AZ7000. Let's bring that up. AZ7000. We got 3 pairs of the KEF Q3s. We got 1 center channel, the KEF Q6. We got 2 pairs of Q8s. And then two Stark Sound SW15s for $10,050. Of course, I think if you were to buy this maybe from like a Kef dealer or something like that, they might be able to work a package deal for you. You know, Amazon always has usually little sales here and there. You save a couple bucks here and there, but it's $10,000. That is my mid-level tier. Jordan, what do you got?
All right, let me see if I can share my screen here. Let's see. Window. Why is my... I guess it doesn't let me share Safari. Let me...
Oh, really? It should.
Yeah, it's not
You get the little.
Okay, I got it.
Oh,
Let me see.
okay. Let me stop my. There we go. Whoops, wrong one.
Oops, says... Okay, there we go. So, I've got the SVS Prime bookshelf speakers at $6.99 a pair. So, these are very popular. SVS is very popular, so we already know SVS, you know, they're legit. A lot of people have their towers, their bookshelf, the satellites. So these are a two-way speaker, 1-inch aluminum dome tweeter with 6.5-inch polypropylene woofer. So they'll go down to 48 hertz to 25,000 hertz, 25 to 150 watts recommended power, and 87 decibels at 8 ohms. So $6.99 a pair. So we're looking at $700 for two. So if we do, did you do seven? How many speaker counts? Or what's this channel count that you did on yours?
I did 13.
13. Okay. So
13. Yeah, 13.
okay. So if we do 700, so 13, 2. Okay. So 7 times. So we're looking at $4,900. And for the, actually no, yeah, for the center channel, I'm gonna go with the Prime Center at $4.99. How much was your center channel?
I think it was $800.
Okay, so you save a little, and I know these are the older ones. Like they don't
Yeah.
have. I don't even know if you can still buy these on their website, but it's on Crutchfield. So center channel is a 3-way design. You get a 1-inch aluminum dome tweeter, 3.5-inch polypropylene mid-range driver, dual 5.25-inch woofers, same 48 to 25,000 hertz, 20 to 200 watts, 86 decibels at 8 ohms. So that's going to give you an additional $500. Okay, so we're at $5,400. Now, if you go back to, let me stop sharing. If you go back to my PDF that I have for the processor, if you can pull that up.
Let's go. Where is it? Where'd my window go? So let's remove that. Let's add that back here. Where is it? Here we go. Yeah, JT. I was like, JT. I was like, there's no way JT was on his mid-tier list.
Yeah, man, I wasn't thinking on that one. So processor is going to be RMC1. Now, I think they raised the price on the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going off of the RMC1, just the, not the plus models. I believe it's around the same price as, I want to say that they were like $3,500. And I don't think it shows the price on the website anymore. But so we're talking about $3,500 for about the same thing. I still have this one. Obviously, I'm using a Trinnov in my home theater right now. But I've been using this for the last couple of years.
Bougie. Yeah, go ahead.
Bougie. The only caveat that I would say with this is also has some very annoying HDMI boards, which I know you can attest to, Shane, when you review this and when you were using it.
Yeah.
But if you take away that, this thing sounds awesome. You get 16 channels. You can get direct live, I believe, with bass control. It's kind of janky. You have to use like a little kit. It comes with like I think it's like a Raspberry Pi or something like that, and so that part's a little bit janky. I wish they would just integrate the directly into it. But
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is awesome. I love the way this sounds. I don't really see any other processors in this price point. Maybe I don't know how much Anthems are. I think those are a little bit more. But yeah, ARM-C1 for the processor. So we are looking at. Oops, I lost my. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I wonder if they got rid of the Raspberry Pi for the newer versions or not.
That's what I wonder.
Yeah.
I would like to think that they did, because that's still kind of janky. But
Yeah.
okay, so with the ARM-C1, we're at $8,900. So I'm gonna go, instead of going with the Zadoo, I'm gonna go with the Arvolution Player Mini, which I believe is $350. So let me pull that up. Share.
The Arvolution, you did that video the other day, yeah?
Yeah, I didn't do the Player Mini, but I did I did their flagship, their Player Pro 8K.
Yeah.
So if we go to their Player Mini and we go to where to buy, US store. So the Player Mini is $384. So 384. So right now we're at 9284. So this thing pretty much does almost everything that the high-end player does, but I think it doesn't do 8K, obviously. So you get 4K, Dolby Vision, HDR10 Plus. Let's see here. 3D support. If you watch my Arvolution video, it's going to do the exact same thing. Obviously, it's not going to do 8K, and there's a
Yeah.
few other features. But caveat is, assuming you already have like a library, media library with Blu-rays and stuff ripped. But $384 if you have your own. If you're like, hey, mid-tier, I want to step up from streaming. I want to get a little bit more out of my system, and I already have a bunch of Blu-rays. I already got hard drive space, or I have a computer, and I want to rip my stuff. You get your Player Mini, and you'll step up from streaming. There won't be any compression on the audio or video. If you rip everything one to one, using like MakeMKV or something, it's going to take up a little bit more space, but you're going to get Blu-ray quality streaming at home. You have control over it, and you don't have to worry about any type of compression or anything. So we're at 9284. So I think I'm going to have to go back to the Stark Sound on that one to get it within so $1,000 if you do. What is a single
Stark Sound is
SW15?
$900 for the Stark Sound.
Okay, so then we're right at 10 grand for that.
Interesting. All right, you came in under. All right. What was your Oh, so how many speakers did you end up with?
So same with you. Oh, the height channel. Sorry, but I forgot about that. Well, I was including all of these, but if you do the Prime satellite speakers for your height channels, you'll save, what is that? $399, $699. So you'll save $400 or $300 for your height channels. So if you take off, you're still coming under $10,000 if you do. Did you do 2 or 4 height channels?
I do 4.
4? Okay, so yeah, so you'll still come in under $10,000 if you take 4 of these and make them your SVS Prime satellite. So you could do a whole SVS system. You could probably buy one of their cheaper subs too. But I really like the SW15. What
Yeah,
it
it's
does
good.
for
It's good.
performance.
Sleeper sub.
Very sleeper sub. I think a lot more people know about it now. Actually, I didn't know about them until you reviewed it. And so I was like, man, this sounds like some pretty good subs. And then when I got, they sent me, I think they sent me the SW15 ported sub too. Now those I actually liked a lot. The only thing is once they start port chuffing, they sounded bad.
Yeah.
Like I haven't heard any subs sound that bad on port chuffing before. But if you don't drive them that low, man, and I stacked them, that thing was ridiculous. But I like the SW15 because they're ported. They're sealed. You don't have to worry about any port chuffing. I mean, those things slam.
Yeah, I never got the the ported ones. I wasn't worthy.
Good subs. I think they were when I reached out to them. I think they were just coming out with them, and they sent them to me. So I was like, yeah. And then they sent me the SW15s. I still have them. I'm not using them right now because I'm reviewing the JTRs. But those are the SW15s are some of my favorite subs that I've ever had.
A lot of name dropping tonight. All right, so let's move on over to our high-end tier. So the high-end tier is from $10,000 up to, I guess, whatever.
I did not fail in this one.
So I kept it under. I kept it within a somewhat manageable means. So let's go ahead with, where is it? So we're going to kick this off with the processor. Oh my God, you know what I didn't do? Well, I guess it doesn't matter because there's no ceiling. So, so we're going to kick this off with the Anthem AVM90.
Shocker. I am surprised.
Actually, I'm gonna have to bring up the matching amplifier now because I forgot to add it.
Yeah, I forgot to add that in too, but I did not think you would go Anthem. Have you reviewed Anthem?
I reviewed their older one.
The AVM 70?
No, the one right before the AVM. I don't even know what it's called anymore. It's been so long. The whatever the model is before these ones got the makeover. But this is it's a 15.4 channel processor. It is $7,500. This is an audio device, by the way, if you guys couldn't tell. It's the Anthem is partly owned by like Martin Logan, so they definitely have that audiophile chops to them. It's got the AK. It's got the AK pass through and all that, so you're set for your your future forward, your specs. The Dolby Atmos DTS-X, no Aural 3D, but that's okay. Does anybody use Aural? I really don't. And then we're gonna have to match that up. I'm gonna have to bring that up. We're gonna have to match that up with the matching 525 5-channel amplifier. You're gonna need a couple of these. These are
a couple? Man, what's the channel count on those?
5 channels.
Dang.
How do I take this off the screen? Hide that. So this is Gen 2. This is $3,800. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to redo my whole thing. You're gonna need like 3 of these.
Wow. That's pretty. That's more than that ends up being more than the Trinev amp.
No. Wow. Well, no.
No. It's still about $5,000 less.
No. Yeah. So this is $3,800 a pop. Listen, you might as well just get 3 of them. 38. Need 3 of these bad boys. Let's bring up the specs on this one here. So this is their Gen 2, available in 5, 3, and 2 channels. What's the wattage? 600 watts into 2 ohms or 225 watts per into 8 ohms. Which I wish I was a little bit more prepared on that, but it's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
Hey, unlimited budget here.
Yeah, so it's unlimited.
If you got it.
Unlimited. I'm gonna have to redo the math on that. And then so we're looking at, guys, I didn't go with Trinev. I know you guys probably would have been like, Shane's gonna go with Trinev.
I'm shocked.
Whack.
I definitely didn't think you would go with the Anthem.
Listen, I wanted to keep it manageable. I didn't want to just blow people out with the price of a Honda Accord for their audio rack. So I went with
You're
the
definitely
Anthem.
gonna need an audio rack for three of those plus the processor.
And then for speakers, I went with a whole suite of Perlisten R4Bs. I'm going with 9 of these. So I want all 9 for your bed channels. These are $2,500 each. So for 9 of them, comes to $22,500. This is for the entire lower channels. I mean, I could have went with the bigger ones. I could have went with the R5Ms with the monitors, but again, I wanted to keep it somewhat realistic. And then to match the top channels, we have the Perlisten R4Ss. These are a little bit cheaper because they are a little bit slimmer. They have the same driver, the same tweeter mid-range complement, so $2,000 each. I am going with 6 of these for a total cost of $12,000. So you get near perfect timbre matching with all 9.6 channels. And then to top it off, we're going to go with 2 of my personal subwoofers. This is the RBH21, which is $12,000 each. I'm going with 2 of these for a total cost of $24,000. I mean, you can go any way you want with subwoofers.
Yeah.
But this is something that I know works well in my room. Obviously, you can go with like JTRs, whatever. But this is what I'm going with. This will cover your infrasonics, also your higher to mid frequencies as well. You might think it's a 21 inch, it's giant, it's not going to sound that great, but it does sound great. Even though I have mine crossed over at like 40 hertz and below. This will come with an amplifier as well, so you will need an external amplifier to juice that up. I think it goes like a 4,000 watt amplifier, if I'm not mistaken. And then to round it off as the source, who's going to guess? Is it going to be an Apple TV? Is it going to be a Zidu media player? Of course not. Of course not. It's going to be a Kaleidoscape Strato V. Listen, I went with the cheap one too. I'm only going with the $4,000 one. I could have went with the Terra server, but I didn't want to go that route. I wanted to keep it realistic, okay, guys? Let me rework my math really quick. Times 3 equals plus 90. 1, 2, 3 equals. Okay. So the Kaleidoscape Strato V for all your movie watching in 4K. Unfortunately, no 3D, but that's okay. But what does it come with? 1 terabyte drive. You can download about 10 movies at a time. You can download them in like 4 minutes or maybe quicker, depending on your internet speeds. For a total cost, so I have got for my high level tier, there's no ceiling, even though I kept it at a ceiling for you guys out there. AVM 90, $7,500. The Perlisten R4Bs, 9 of them for $22,500. 9 lower channels, 6 top channels. Perlisten R4S, $2,000 each by 6, $12,000. RBH, 21-inch subwoofers, 2 of them, $24,000. Kaleidoscape player for $4,000. And then 3 Anthem MC 525s for $3,800 each, which is on screen, for a total cost of $81,400. I know this is going to be a lot cheaper than Jordan's.
Oh yeah, it is. Way cheaper. That's still like when you think about it, like $80,000.
That is a lot of money.
That's
Dude,
a lot of money.
I had a hard time with the mid tier.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking on that one. I completely botched that one. But yeah, I was like, all right. So you said no budget on the 3rd tier. I went for it, man.
All right, so let's let me add that.
I'm gonna pull up these prices over here on mine so I can.
Am I using your PDF?
Yeah, I'm just gonna calculate it over here on my screen as we're talking about it.
All right, so the question is, do you agree with any of my choices? Leave your thoughts down below while we move over to Jordan's tier. So we're going to start it off already with the Strato V. Look at that.
Strato V. Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I because you did the Strato V also, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So I was gonna go with the Terra server, but I was like, nah. You can still, the good thing with Kaleidoscape is you can download and delete as much as you want. So even though you only have 1 terabyte of hard drive space, technically you don't really run out because you can delete and re-download if you need to. So that one is that's $4,000 for the oops $4,000 for the Strato V as the player. So we both agreed on that one.
Yep.
For my speaker, I went with
Oh my God. Look
all
at that.
R5Ms per
Oh
listen.
my God. You took it a step above me. Okay. All right.
So per listen R5Ms. So those are $29.95 a piece. So if we do, I'm trying to think. You did 9. I'm trying to think if I want to do 7 and then like 3 subs or
Come on. You got to trend off
no.
in the
I'll,
list, I'm
I'll, I'll
sure.
match
So,
you. I'll match you with that. So 9. So we got 29.95. 29.95 times 9. So that's 26,000. Is that right?
yeah, it's about right.
29.95. Yeah,
Yeah,
times
mine came in
9
22.
plus 4,000. So we're at $30,000 right there. So the R5M monitors, they are a 3-way speaker
Yep.
with the DCP array, 26 millimeter silk dome tweeter. You've got 2 165 millimeter woofers. Sensitivity is 89 decibels, 4 ohm impedance, with an 80 hertz to 20 kilohertz response. And yeah, so I would still cross these over at 8. Well, you've got 2 different ones. So you've got the bass reflex, which gives you the 40 to 32 kilohertz.
Yeah.
And then you've got some other stuff in there. So yeah, I would still cross them over at 80 hertz anyway. But awesome speakers. I've heard per listen. You've had these in your
Yeah, I did a review. Yep.
you did a review of those. I've heard them in person many times. Great speaker. So yeah, R5M for my speaker, and then a couple of D215s. So let's see, per listen, D215s for the subs.
Where's my. Oh, you know what? I was looking for the air horn. I forgot it's actually here.
I got you. All right, so per listen D215s, those are 10 grand a piece. So we'll add $20,000. So right now I'm at 50. So I'm still 30 under below. Yours was 80, right?
Yeah.
I'm still gonna beat that. But yeah, D215s. You've actually reviewed these, Shane.
Yeah.
So you get a push pull. You've got, let's see here. So frequency response is 20 to 200 hertz. THX EQ is 15 to 200 hertz. Boost is 24 to 200. I mean, bells and whistles, balanced XLR, unbalanced XLR. You've got the iOS and Android app. You've got a touchscreen on it. I mean, you could do all kinds of stuff with this. I actually haven't heard these in my home theater. I've heard them at the shows. It's ridiculous what these things can output. Shane, what was for those that hadn't seen the video, what were your thoughts on these out of all the reviews, all the subs that you've reviewed?
Well, these would definitely be on the holy grail list of subwoofers for me. The only reason why I didn't end up buying them is because they're glossy. So I didn't want some glossy.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about them. I'm not for targeting home theater. I'm not sure why they didn't offer
Yeah.
a matte option. That was, to me, that's kind of weird. Especially if you're gonna be putting these like the ones that you have, like, or the height channel ones. I mean, that's all that stuff's going to be reflecting back onto your screen. So
Yeah. I mean, I know Teo's in the chat here. I don't know if he's still here, but he's got the D212s, and he has, I think he has one, maybe two that's in satin black.
hmm,
But I don't know if that was like a pre-production thing or what. But I know if he wanted something custom, they said they could do it in a different color if you wanted. I'm sure there's probably a like a upcharge
a
for it,
price and
but
treat, yeah.
yeah. But at the time when I had it, no, it was only in black. Plus, my room back then was only like 12 by 12, so it was like,
And you had two of them.
yeah, you just couldn't really walk around. It just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, you got to have space for these.
Yeah,
So this is assuming you have the space in your home theater for them. But awesome, amazing subs. I mean, they had them at Cedia, and I want to say they had what was that room, like 7 or 8 of them. It was crazy. So they were doing waveforming with the Trinov and everything, and it's an impressive demo.
yeah. All right, so let's go on to
Oh yeah.
the processor.
So yeah, after I've had I've had mine for review for a couple months now, and there's like I've heard you say this before. Once you hear the Trinov, it's impossible to really like go back to anything else. I mean, Storm is good too. I've heard Storm. I haven't heard them in my theater, but I've heard them a few times. Great, but out of all the receivers, processors that I've had in my actually owned and used, man, there's no comparison. It's not even close. So it's like I would find a way to enter. I think this was probably the first thing that I would buy out of anything, even if I had to save up for it. So yeah, Trinov Altitude 16 channel processor, RO3D, DTSX, Dolby Atmos. I mean, absolute complete configuration over your entire setup. I mean, you can do some crazy stuff. The Trinov microphone. I forgot to. I guess I got to include that
Yeah,
because that's what, like $800.
$800, 850, I
Okay,
think now.
so let me pull this up. Trinov 16. So Trinov Altitude 16 is $19,500. So plus 19,500 plus 800. So we're looking at $71,255 with the Altitude 16, including the mic. And then you gotta add the amplifier. So I mean, I guess technically you don't have to. You could use other amplifiers, so you could go cheaper. But let's just say we want to keep it in house. So amplitude.
I mean, you're already
If you got the
spending
money too,
Trino
yeah,
money.
you've got the money too. Let's see. Why isn't it?
It's weird. You got a fan on? You got a fan on over there?
Nope.
AC? No, it's weird. Like sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's my. So my AC, whenever it kicks in, it's super super loud.
Okay.
I don't know why it's always been like that. Okay, so the Trinov Amplitude 16 is an additional $12,500. I thought they were more than that.
Yes.
So $12,500. So I'm at 83,755. That's about the same where you were at.
I find that hard to believe. How many speakers did you put on the list? 9.
Oh, I didn't include the high channels. That's right. I forgot about
Yeah,
those. So
thought so. Okay.
that's right. Okay, so we're at 83,000. So for the height channels, I'm gonna go with the Perlis. Was it the S4Bs? Perlisten S4B.
You know, the
No,
S4B?
that's not right.
R4S.
R4S. I'm sorry, R4S. So those are $19.95 a piece. So $2,000 times 6.
Can you fit 6? How many? 9. 10,
Yeah, if I do two sets, so no,
I gotta
9.
do 4.
Yeah, I got to do 4.
Yeah.
So I'll do 2,000 times 4, so that's 8. So not plus 8,000, 91,000. So not that much more than yours. That's actually surprising.
Huh.
So $91,000 for my system. So per listen, R series monitors, R4S for my height channels, 4 speakers. Got the altitude 16 plus the uh, amplitude 16 processor and amplifier combo, and then you got the two D215s and the Strato V. So
God, why do I feel like somebody's math is off here? You're gonna tell me you got the Trinov on there, which is 40 grand for both pieces. How much is mine?
I think it's
75.
those separates you got, man. Those were what, like almost $4,000, but you had 3 of them.
Yeah, but the Avium 90 is 7,500 bucks compared to basically 20 for yours.
Okay, so let me do this again then. So $20,000 for the Trinov plus 12,000 for the amplifier plus what was the per listen? Go back here
Was it 3,000 for each?
for the speaker. Let's see here.
Was it R
Yeah,
for
$3,000 for the R.
by how many? 7 by 9
So that's $4,000 times 9, so that's 36,000
plus 2,000 times 4
plus 2 plus 8. 1, 2, 3. So that's $76,000 right there.
plus another 19 for the 16 altitude.
No, I already did that.
Oh, you did that already?
Yeah. So I need to do the subwoofer. So the D per listen D215. So those are $10,000 each. So times 2, that's 20 plus. So okay, yeah, I must have been off at first. So that's $96,000 plus the $4,000 for the Strato V.
Yes, 100
So
grand.
100 grand. Okay, I was off.
I was like, I know you're not
Wait.
working a Trinov in your system.
And that's not the. I didn't include the height speakers. So that's 100 grand without the height speaker. So I got to add 4 of those. So those were what, 2,000 a piece.
Yep.
So 108,000. So 108,000 minus what was yours? 83,000.
Mine was 81.
81.
God, yeah.
So I bested you by 27 grand.
Shame.
But
shame,
hey,
shame.
no limit, man. I mean, I've seen. Let's see. Doyle had 4 D215s stacked. So that's $40,000 in just the subs. So he had 4 of those. And then he had the S series towers. So, I mean, and then, so he had that. He had a Storm Audio. He had a Kaleidoscape. And then he had Arndals for his height channels. He had a JVC Pro. So, I mean, you could easily. That's way more than what I have.
Yeah, it gets crazy because every time I would add something up, even for the entry level, I was just like, oh man, I was like, this is just tough. Unless you're gonna do like used stuff,
Yeah.
pre-owned stuff. I was like, even entry level is like, damn, how many, just trying to kind of max out an Atmos system. I was like, it adds up. And then $10,000. That $10,000 is a lot of money, especially for mid tier. And it's like, man,
For one piece of gear, like for one speaker or one sub, I mean, you're talking. Yeah, if you can do tier 1 on $10,000 and you're buying a speaker or a subwoofer that costs $10,000.
Yeah.
That's pretty
it's-
wild.
I know a lot of people are just like, in the comment section, they're like, oh my God, my whole system is $10,000. I'm like, dude, your system must suck.
So I think when I moved into this house, I'm trying to see if my system even. I had. What was I using? So when I moved into this house, I bought a Anthem MRX 720. I think it was 7. So I had an Anthem, I had a couple of. What's up, Ike? I need a drink with these budgets. You ain't got no money for drinks, man. Got to drink water. So I had an Anthem receiver. I had a couple of Emotiva amplifiers, Oppo for my player, Epson for my projector. Let me see. Speakers were some cheap Polk, cheap screen from Amazon, Silver Ticket, in ceiling Polks, couple subs. So yeah, I think mine was more than $10,000. Not by like a crazy amount. So maybe somewhere between 10 and 15. And that was over like years of buying speakers and having the same
Yeah.
speakers for 8, 9, 10 years. I mean, my system's much more than that now, but still, like, it takes a long time to get what I guess we individually would consider in-game stuff. Like, and a lot of people, you've seen them in the, oh, these people are rich, or you're like, nah, man. Like, I'm in my 40s. I've been at my job for 17 years. Then doing YouTube, like, it takes a long time to get some of the gear that we got.
Yeah. Some people just be getting Trinos off the bat, though. Why? Why Perlison over JTR, Jordan?
For my in-game setup, I would say, now I love JTR. Like, if in my theater right now, I don't have the space for JTR. So I had just having the three up front for my LCR, like my left and right speakers, my height speakers mounted, there was only like a couple, maybe like a foot and a half between the JTR and my height speaker, and I was like, that's way too close. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. So if I had like 9 or 10 foot ceilings, then yeah. Perlisons are a lot smaller if I go with the monitors versus the JTR. So that's one. And then, just I guess getting more lower frequency out of the mains versus like the JTRs. I think those you have to cross. They only go down to like 60 hertz. I mean, I would still cross them over 80 hertz anyway, so it technically doesn't matter. But it's that DCP array is pretty sweet, man. So yeah, I mean, I could go either way. Like, if you told me, hey, you can only have JTR, I'd be fine with it. But if I had my like no limit on pricing and no budget, I think I would go with Perlison.
Yeah, I thought about doing the Perlison in walls, but just getting the backer box and making them on walls.
Okay, yeah.
So I've been toying around with that idea, but then even still, that's still pretty expensive. Those on walls, they're not cheap.
Yeah. I've had towers before, and I'm kind of just over them. Like, especially once I started doing YouTube, I was like, man, I'm not trying to pick up these towers. Like, even if they're not that heavy, it's an awkward pickup because they're tall, Whereas like if I get monitors, all I have to do is pick up the speaker, move it temporarily, put the new speaker on the stand. So a lot of it is being a content creator on YouTube and knowing that I'm going to review stuff. But I kind of just like monitors now because it's like, well, I'm going to cross them over at 80 hertz anyways, with the subs. And it saves, I know you still have a stand, but to me, it just kind of saves space versus having like floor standard speakers. I'm not too much, I don't think I would ever go back to in walls. Even if they're like Perlison, I think I would still, like, if I was to build my room, I would build it wide enough to where, I would still, use monitors.
Yeah, I mean, plus, I mean, even movie theaters don't use towers. Even the big
Right.
$1 million theaters, they don't use towers.
Yeah.
Towers are like for music.
Two
Look at that.
channel.
If I'm paying all that money, I want them to look great. I hate JTR's looks. I'll want
I
to hide them.
I don't I don't agree with that. Like, I know I've got a lot of comments and people are like, I hate those speakers. They look industrial. I actually like the way they look. I don't mind that. And I think they're like, what was the speakers that you reviewed that you said in one of your reviews? You said that these were meant just for. I think it popped up on my feed the other day, and I was watching them again.
Oh, the Procellas?
Procellas, like
Yeah.
those are not meant to look pretty. Like these
Yeah.
are home theater designed for home theater. Most people are probably going to be putting those behind a screen. I mean, a lot of people put JTR behind a screen. I had my center channel behind the screen. I just didn't have the space on the left and right to put mine behind the screen. But I like the way the Perlistons, I mean the JTRs look. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah. It's the, the size. They're so big too.
Yeah, they're that's what I'm saying. Like if I had like a wider, because my theater is only 10 feet wide, so if I had like 9 or 10 foot ceilings and a wider space, I would have no issues having JTR speakers.
I
And
mean,
actually,
I'd have to live in like a warehouse size room for those.
yeah, yeah. If you're doing all like the
Yeah.
same, um, I'm kicking myself because when I got my house built, I remember them asking me if I wanted 8 foot ceilings or 9 foot ceilings, and the only reason why I didn't do 9 foot ceilings is because I mean that was in 2000, that was 2018. I still live by myself, but I had a budget, and if I went with 9 foot ceilings, I think it was going to be like 4 grand extra onto the price, and I would have went over. But that's literally the only reason why I didn't do it. If I had the budget, I would have done it. But like, I mean, I'm happy with my system, but sometimes I'm like, man, I really wish I had 9 foot ceilings because that foot makes a big difference, man. Like all the home theater tours that I've done, where I'm like, they got like 9 and 10 foot ceilings. I'm like, dude, you get so much more of an expansive sound
Yeah.
with that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the separation from the height channels.
Yeah. It's weird because in my back row, the riser is like a foot and a half, and it goes from 10 foot in the front row to 8 foot in the back. And I'm just like, it's so shallow. It's like I can just jump up and touch it. But then you go to the first row, it's just like, the aliens in Quiet Place are just walking up there. You're like, oh, it's like way up there.
Yeah,
And then the planes fly in the back in the second row, and you're like, oh, it's like
right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where do you sit? Like when you're watching movies, you sit in the front row or the second row? I assume it's the front row, but
Yeah, I sit in the front, in the center. So my front seat is, I think, it's like 10 foot, maybe a little bit further from 10 foot. If I lean back from the screen, the screen's 150, so I think it feels immersive. I love it when, for the 16:9 stuff for the IMAX, when the IMAX stuff comes up. Because I was watching Guardians 1 the other night in 3D, and
nice.
when the 3D scenes, like all the space battles would pop open and just go full screen, it would just be like boom, and it feel like almost like an IMAX ish experience. Obviously, it's not as big, but you get, when you go from letterbox to full screen, you get
Yeah.
that big jump in immersiveness. And then the second row is still good. Um, it's probably a little bit better for letterbox stuff in the second row, to be honest with you. But then the sound is just better in the first row.
Yeah, so I'm kind of actually I'm the opposite because I the way that my speaker configuration is when I ran the wires, and then when I built my riser, the second row actually sounds better for separation because when you're on the front row, you're really close to the speakers. I think my second row is 11 and a half feet. And then the front row is like 6.5 or 7 feet, something like that. 8 feet. So I have to remeasure it again. It sounds a lot better with the Trinoff, but I remember before when I had like my other, like the Emotiva and the Anthem, I would sit on the front row when friends would come over, and I'd be like, "Whoa, this is kind of like too loud. Like, I'm kind of suffering here, but I want my friends to enjoy that." So now it sounds a lot better. I've sat there a couple times. See, my nephews came over this weekend. We watched Captain America: Brave New World, and then I had some friends over about a month and a half ago. We watched Tenet, and I sat on the front row, and I was like, "Oh, it sounds a lot better up here now." With the Trinoff. But yeah, second row with all the speakers is my main listening position, and it still sounds good. when I was at my parents' house, I had a much smaller theater, and that in that room I had 12 foot wide. Those 2 extra feet makes a big difference, man. I remember when I moved in here and I was like, oh, this is 10 feet. I was like, I can make it work, but like it even sounded different,
Yeah.
having the wider space.
Yeah, I got 2.5 feet behind, well, maybe it's almost 3 feet behind my screen. So the my speakers are
3 feet,
12.
dang.
Yeah, it's like 12 and a half feet, 12 and a half feet. Yeah, 12 and a half, 13 and a half feet from the main seat to the from the front row to the speakers. So, it's deceiving because you're like, oh, the screen's right there. Because you might think
Yeah,
the speakers are like right there, but they're actually a couple feet behind the screen. So I get that the good distance from anywhere that you sit. Even the back speakers are, even the back row. I think the back row is like 5.5 feet from the second row to the speakers in the back. So it's still pretty good distance. So you're not getting like hammered, hammered with the back
yeah,
speakers. Because I know a lot of people they'll have all the space. They'll be like 18 feet from the first row, then they'll slam their back speakers against the back wall. I'm like, dude, you got so much space in here.
yeah.
Just give some
Move it up.
separation. The back row, yeah,
And your screen is 150.
yeah, 150.
How do you move that thing, man? Because I went from a 100 inch to 110 inch with the Seymour screen, and like that's I can do it by myself, but I'm like, man, if I went any bigger, this would be really hard for me to pick it. Like, it's not ridiculously heavy, but I can pick it up, set it down, and then I can move it. But I'm like, man, 150 inches, like,
Yeah,
I would not be able to move that by myself. How do you move
dude.
that?
Yeah, I put that together myself. I had to go get my ottoman in the other room, and then get the chair, which is a little bit taller. Then I got the step ladder, which is a little bit taller. So I would go up one level, go to the opposite end, put it
Oh
on
my
the other one,
god!
go to the other end, put it on the other one. They don't have to like muscle it up on the hooks.
Wow.
So yeah.
And you have to do that every time.
Well, now my panels around the screen they're removable, so
Oh,
I
so you
can
can
just
just
move it
go.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
just
Yeah,
crawl
that's right.
under. Yeah, so I'll crawl underneath it. I want to get like some hinges, kind of like Michael's got some hinges on his, but
Yeah, I heard though. I think. I think somebody said that they went over there and they were like, it rattles,
yeah,
or like because of the hinges. He's like, you can't stop that from rattling. Because I thought about doing that. I don't think I have enough clearance in the front row to even do that, but I was like, I don't know about that. So I forgot to mention it in my review, but Seymour Screen has these magnets that you put on. It attaches to the actual screen on the back of the screen, and then what you do is it comes with a little, like a wall anchor. So you put it where
yeah.
you want on the screen, and then you push it into the wall, and then that way it's in there, so that when you hang it, it doesn't move. I haven't really had any problems with it. I still need to do mine because I had to kind of move my, I had to bring the screen off the wall a little bit, and I haven't put them in there. But yeah, I'm able to hold mine right in the middle and pick it up and push it down. But I'm like, if this is any bigger, I don't think I'd be able to do that,
Well,
or if I wasn't strong enough.
I've got mine hanging on a chain. So it's on a chain and there's a little hook at the end of it, and I just have it looped underneath the top of the frame, so
It
I can
doesn't
swing
sway,
it up. Yeah, I can swing it upwards.
but I mean, it doesn't sway with like the base.
No, because I have like beams behind it, so it lays against
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, to keep it from swinging back and forth. Although if I'm going like full tilt, which is pretty rare, the screen will vibrate. Like I can see it like from the
Flexing.
air. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shoot. But that's like going extreme, just like trying to show off for the guys. I'm like, yo, check this out.
And then you have how many subs now?
What do I got? 5 behind. So I got 8. 5 in the front, 3 in the back.
You got 5 in the front.
Yeah, so I got 2 mounted up high, 2 on the
Oh, wait for me.
bottom, the infra in the middle, and then 3 in the back.
So you moved the 21 inch to the front.
Yeah. Yeah. So they wanted, I guess, for if you're gonna do waveforming, they want the best sub in the front. From what they told me.
Man, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's how they have it at the Trinov training thing. They got the 32 right behind the screen on the bottom. So I was like, all right. I was like, that's what you guys are recommending. But all right, let's knock it here. All right, guys. So that's our stream for today. That's our 3 levels of home theater setups: entry level, mid level, high end level. Do you guys agree with our choices? What would your tiers be? What's your number? Do you think we made it too high? Do you think we made it too low? Would you go as high as Jordan on your high end tier, or would you try to keep it normal like me? Leave your thoughts down below and let us know. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Jordan's channel. If you're watching this on his channel, don't forget to subscribe to mine. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video.